Oh, it felt pretty scary, I must admit. I had a good, in preparation for the role, was probably the most scared I've ever been in going into any movie. But it's one of those lovely things. It's the day before first day of work is always petrifying, and then as soon as you get there and you realise that everyone is actually lovely and it's not, yeah, and that the character that we created for this Sarah Connor is so different to Linda's, and not, I mean, the circumstance which we find her in is so different to what Linda and James Cameron created, that there was a lot of room to to put my own mark on it, which made it less daunting. Well, there was lots of physical attributes that Sarah has that I don't at all. So it was a brilliant couple of months of getting to grips with guns and making that feel like I had done it for 10 years. And then those guns are pretty heavy, so a lot of strength training to just simply be able to have the skill set that Sarah does. So it was brilliant because in one sense it's a great skill to learn, but more than anything it was a way of me getting into Sarah Connor's shoes. Yeah, it was pretty surreal. He is incredibly iconic. And so there was a lot of fear and trepidation in coming up to that first meeting, but then he just puts everyone at ease. As soon as he walks into the room, he's just so easygoing and relaxed and comfortable in his own skin, and that in turn makes everyone else comfortable. Yeah, it's brilliant. I mean, anytime that anyone's flagging on set, which sometimes happens, you're doing long hours, and right, when you reach the halfway point, you just have to summon even more strength. But when you look around you and you know that you've got an amazing ensemble to back you up, and when someone was falling, someone else was coming in to kind of help boost morale and get the energy levels back up again. It was just so lucky. As a girl, I hate to say it was more getting to see his professionalism on camera. Because whilst working out and doing guns is something that obviously I will do for this role and for others, I'm an actor first and foremost. And so getting to see the way that he is so professional on set and how he handles people on set, that was kind of the most inspiring thing. It turns it on its head in that it is very much a continuation of the much beloved 1 and 2 that James Cameron created, but giving the characters an entire new backstory, situation, circumstance, so that you see them in a whole new light, and you see those relationships turned on their heads. And so whilst the characters are still exactly the same, the parts of them that you see are totally different. So I think that's one of the biggest things, and the fact that it's a Terminator franchise. It's got the stunts, it's got the action, but it's got a huge amount of heart and sensitivity as well. It allows Sarah Connor to be both badass and human, which I think is a really important aspect, especially for me coming into the role to try and make the differences between what I've done and what Linda Hamilton did as well. Is that you see a much more sensitive human attribute through the eyes of the relationship between father and daughter, and it's an incredibly special one. She watched, it starts pretty dark. She watched her parents die when she's 9 years old to be saved by this man, by this Terminator, who then promises to save her forever and ever and ever. So that's a kind of a pretty strong bond. It starts as people are ready for. It starts with a hark back to what has already been, and then you get the huge change, especially as Sarah Connor's introduced. You get that whole setup, but then it's an enormous role reversal. So the look on Kyle Reese's face when he's sort of, this is not what he was expecting at all. That change is brilliant. And then jumping forward to the new threat. The threat that we are now aware of, and then when you get there, to have the savior of humankind turn out to be the savior and salvation of Skynet is another huge twist that just projects this movie, and it just kind of has this movie never stop and just keeps going. I think to see the homage and the respect that we've paid to the first two, but to also see those new relationships and to see a bloody kick-ass girl not be a damsel in distress, but save someone else's life, which is pretty fun. It was really good. Again, same age, coming at it from this sort of from the new standpoint. So we were very much like, yeah, brothers in arms in that sense. Because you've got Arnold, who created the Terminator. He knows his way around that set. He knows his way around that character. And then we kind of newbies turn up and sort of are trying to reprise these roles. So it was gorgeous. It was just lovely. Lots of banter, lots of fun.